advice and a question on if you know people, Christians specifically in your life, who say you're un-Christian-like or not a Christian, if you don't agree with what's going on with the immigration or illegal immigrants, and they use Leviticus 19:33 through 34 as their argument to say you're un-Christ-like if you believe that illegal immigrants should be deported, what would you say to that?
Well, first of all, let's see how much they actually believe the Bible. So say, oh, you want to talk about Leviticus 19. Do you know that in Leviticus 18, it says that homosexuality is wrong and that a man shall not lay with another man? Or are you just trying to cherry pick Leviticus verses that fit your political agenda? So if they believe that too, then fine, respect. But I find that, and then finally, secondly, if they're a Christian, you should answer their question. If they're not a Christian, just roll your eyes, be like, why do you, who don't believe in what I believe, have to justify what I believe to you, where you're just trying to deconstruct my faith? I think it's largely a waste of time. But if it's a Christian, that means well. So look, the verse, Leviticus 19:33, is to love the foreigner because you were once a foreigner in their land. I think that's right, correct? Some approximating. So it is true. Throughout the Bible, the verses that are most used by pastors when it comes to immigration is about loving the foreigner and loving that person that might come into your land. Interestingly, in ancient Israel, there were two different words for foreigner. I think it's like zer and mer. I could be wrong. But it basically, one word would mean that which assimilates and that which does not assimilate. But did you know there's an equal amount of verses that that person might not tell you, like Deuteronomy 28, I think that's about right, where it says, be careful who you let into your gates, because they one day can become your masters. The whole idea of borders is a Christian and biblical idea. Let's look at one of my favorite books of the Bible, which I think is Trump's favorite book of the Bible, because it's all about building the wall. It's literally called, it's Build the Wall. It's the book of Nehemiah. The entire book of Nehemiah is about building the walls around Jerusalem, building the walls of Israel. Now, did they build the walls because they hated people outside, or because they loved the holy covenant that God gave them and they needed to protect it against the threats outside? The whole idea, though, of expelling those in your land, it says very clear in the book of Deuteronomy that these are the guide stones of your nation. If you are to move a single stone, you'll be expelled outside of the nation. So let's kind of go through the thinking when it comes to immigration, which is very important. We are a nation, and nations are a godly idea. We know this because in Genesis 11, Nimrod wanted to create a city and a tower to his own name. We call this the Tower of Babel story. And he says, I want to have a one world government, all collected together. How did God respond to that? He scattered them amongst the peoples and the languages of the world. Nations and border states has always been a uniquely biblical idea. You see, the Roman Empire wanted to take over the entire world. Alexander the Great wanted to take over the entire world. The idea of boundaries and borders is actually rooted in humility, that we don't run the entire planet, that we have a jurisdiction that we are here to steward, and we're here to